Hi there and welcome to Doc Talk. Glad you joined us today. We're going to have a great show. I have Dr. Nels Lindberg, a veterinarian from Great Bend, Kansas, and the owner of the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend, Kansas. We're going to talk about preconditioning calves and preparing those animals for transport in the beef industry. Sure glad you joined us today.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress, powered by Kansas farmers. Doc Talk, brought to you by Kansas Pork Association, assisting producers and informing consumers.
Nels, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
This is Dr. Nels Lindberg, who's a veterinarian from Great Bend, Kansas, and he's the senior partner of Animal Medical Center, and you're also a part or one of the veterinarians in production animal consultation. And as we were talking before the show, this is a group that consults cattle internationally, different species as well, not just cattle, but pigs and dairy as well. But 1 out of every 10 steaks is under y'all's care.
Virtually just shy of 1.5 million head on feed, which would be equal to about 1 out of every 10 steaks on every plate in America.
That's amazing. Your group does a lot of great work out there, not only for the producers, but we appreciate what y'all do for us here at Kansas State University as well.
Well, we're glad to do it and glad to cooperate with Kansas State University, and together we can do better.
You bet. Well, today we're going to talk about a topic that's pretty near and dear to both of our hearts, and that's preconditioning calves, or preparing those calves on the ranch for market through our marketing system. And let's just start out with some of the things of why is preconditioning important?
Well, preconditioning is, a strategy that's been around for a while, since probably the, first talked about in the early 80s, mid 80s, that they talked about in Iowa. Just a protocol or vaccination protocol to get calves ready to go on to the next stage of their life, that typically being a starter yard or some feeding situation of some kind. We know through both experience and data that preconditioned cattle do better than non-preconditioned cattle in a confined feeding setting. So in the end, that's why it's important, is they do better from both a health and performance standpoint, preconditioned versus non-preconditioned cattle.
I hear the non-preconditioned cattle sometimes called opportunity cattle, mismanaged cattle. And really when we're talking about this is that high-risk calf that's abruptly weaned, no vaccination history.
Yeah. I mean, they're cattle that get pulled off mama cow, and they get ran through the system and sold and wind up on our end, and it's a stressful time in their life.
You bet. And then they come walking in here. They're not only naive from a viral antigen or bacterial standpoint, but naive kind of the ways of the world and being handled and lots of different things. Where feed comes from.
That'd be correct. They don't know exactly the kind of water tanks we use and what they are. They're not familiar with a bunk, not familiar with a pen setting.
Well, no matter how you slice it, doing the right thing, managing these calves is important. I know you feel that way and you see it every day.
Absolutely, that's correct.
Well, thanks for being here today. Thank you for watching Doc Talk. We're going to continue with Dr. Lindberg here after the break. You've been watching Doc Talk, and we're sure glad you joined us. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
Get ready for the Kicker Country Stampede presented by Verizon Wireless, starring Jason Aldean, Trace Atkins. 4 days of camping and country music at Country Stampede, Little Big Town. The Pistolantes featuring Ashley Monroe, Miranda Lambert, and Angelina Presley. Country Stampede. Take advantage of our current pricing. Advanced pricing for a 4-day ticket is $135. Prices go up June 26. More info at countrystampede.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
If you don't have a garden, you can still enjoy fresh vegetables by growing them in containers. Let Jackson's help you select the correct plants for your pots. Use Fertilome's Ultimate Potting Mix. Place pots in the sun and feed them weekly with Fertilome's water-soluble fertilizer. Water thoroughly when dry and watch your garden grow.
Jackson's grows over 50 varieties of tomato plants and 75 kinds of pepper plants. We'll help you choose the best variety.
Roy Fry Western Lifestyles brings the cowboy or cowgirl out in all of us. With a huge selection of must-have items, it doesn't matter if you're shopping for your horse, picking up some Western accessories to add that rustic charm to your home, or simply treating yourself. The knowledge and expertise to dress you your Western best is right here at Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, Highway 24 and Kansas Avenue in Topeka.
Doc Talk, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hi there, welcome back to Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. I'm joined today by Dr. Nels Lindberg, who's a friend and colleague. He's a veterinarian from Great Bend, Kansas. He's the senior partner of Animal Medical Center, and he's also in a partnership with Production Animal Consultation Group, which is located in many states, and they do a whale of a job of consulting feed yards, dairy, swine operations, and such. And just great to have you here and be able to spend time with you. When we started talking about preconditioning programs, and I know that you're very passionate about doing the right thing for the cattle, what are some of the things that you like to see producers do in these programs, or what are some of the different programs, and how should we do them?
Typically, you know, the preconditioning program that we're vastly familiar with is what we do in the fall. But we first got to back up to the springtime, and that's in a spring calving situation.
Right.
But in the springtime, if it's a springtime calving situation, you know, what do we do at branding or, you know, prior to turnout? And so oftentimes that's a time frame that gets left out, and cattle may get nothing in the springtime at branding, or they may get blackleg, or they may get, you know, a couple other vaccines. But it's very important that at minimum those cattle get a blackleg then, but also a viral vaccine, and we use a fair amount of Pasteurella at that point in time as well in those calves. Sure,
and when we talk about a viral vaccine, we're talking about the respiratory viral, the IBR, BVD, PI3, BRSV, and you know, when we start to think about Pasteurella and these vaccines, we're really trying to lay the groundwork. It's when the maternal passive immunity from colostrum is waning, and we're starting to get that vaccination in those calves to prepare them for weaning.
That's right. We still, there's probably some calves that have some maternal colostrum. We still go ahead and we recommend to get that viral vaccination into them, and we do use a fair amount of Pasteurella in those babies to ward off some of those summer pneumonia situation in those babies.
So then let's get to the traditional side of the preconditioning program. This is going to come when these calves are 6-7 months old. Might be a little earlier with the drought and different things of that nature, but what are we looking at this point in time?
At that point in time, it kind of depends. Are we going to wean them on the cow? Are we going to start our preconditioning on the cow? Or are we going to start the preconditioning and weaning and when they're off the cow? And so either way, we believe and feel, and the data is there to prove it, that they need 2 rounds of shots in the fall, both your viral and Pasteurella. Now there's different programs out there that have different stages of number of shots you give, or how many you give, or once or twice. but twice is the best, and 2 rounds of modified live, 2 Pastorella.
So you're going to give that at the time of weaning and then come back how long?
Oh, we typically, it depends on the operation, but 14 days is kind of your average time frame.
Cool. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, let's get more into these programs and what your recommendation is for preconditioning these calves.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you being here. We appreciate you watching the show too. After the break, we'll be back with more with Dr. Lindberg on preconditioning calves. You're watching Doc Talk, and we're sure glad you joined us.
We've been using Multi-Min for about 7 years. It's one of the most multi-use products that we have here on the farm. Bulls, cows, calves, weaning age cattle, just about everything on the place. If they go through the chute, they get a shot of it. The primary use that we started Multi-Min was in our donor program, in our embryo transplant program. I'd recommend Multi-Min to any producer in the cattle business. Here at Deer Valley, every animal that goes through the chute gets a dose of Multi-Min.
Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
Purple Wave is a proud supporter of the Kansas FFA through the Bid for Blue program. Purple Wave donates a portion of the proceeds earned on certain ag assets to the Kansas FFA. Winning bidders can designate a Kansas chapter to receive the donation. To date, Purple Wave is proud to have donated over $10,000. Visit purplewave.com to learn more and to place bids on Bid for Blue assets. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Doc Talk, brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick. In Wamego, just a short drive down the yellow brick road.
Hi there and welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, joined by Dr. Nels Lindberg, who is a senior partner, veterinarian and senior partner of the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend, Kansas, and he is included in a group of veterinarians called Production Animal Consultation, which is located around the United States, mainly in the central High Plains region, but they cover all species, swine, dairy, and feedlot, cow-calf consultation, and good partners with Kansas State University. And we're talking about preconditioning, Dr. Nels. And when we kind of left for break, we'd talked about using, viral vaccines, bacterial such as Mannheimia and Pastorella, and then Clostridial or blackleg vaccinations. But what are some of these, and making sure we get 2 rounds of shots, but what are some of the other things that we would be looking at doing during preconditioning?
Well, we need to provide a castrated steer calf or bull calf. He needs to be castrated, and then we also want to dehorn the calves that have nubs or little horns. So we want to provide a castrated and dehorned calf.
In your experience, at the feedlot level, buying a castrated steer or bull versus an intact male calf, is there a big difference in death loss? Or
huge, and that difference has risen actually. Some of the recent data I just put together last week for a presentation, I used to always say, and the data used to always say, morbidity and mortality was double.
For bulls
versus steers.
If you have to castrate them at the feedlot versus one that's already castrated.
Yeah.
Well, what are we seeing now?
Now the data that we put together showed morbidity actually was the same. Bulls was twice the morbidity as the steers, but mortality was anywhere, depending on the weight class, 3s and 4s, anywhere from 3 to 5 times the mortality of their steer mates.
So when you're purchasing intact bulls and you're going to cut them at the feed yard compared to buying steers, you need to factor in the cost that you're going to double the sickness rate for bovine respiratory disease and have 3 to 5 times the death loss.
That's right.
Wow. Big difference.
Yeah, well, it's a sizable, significant difference.
So then what are some of the other things that we're going to do when we precondition these calves?
We want to make sure we deworm them. We know parasites are immunosuppressive. We want to get rid of the parasites in those babies so they're ready to go and cleaned up, and also so if you in your preconditioning program from the nutritional aspect that they will have a better performance as being a dewormed calf. Also from a mineral standpoint, any calf coming out of a drought region, sometimes maybe there is a need for an injectable mineral. I do it routinely in Herefords. We see a lot of Herefords at one particular yard and feel like a mineral injection is beneficial to their immune system and health.
Cool. What about steroid implants?
It's a great product. It needs to be used, and that's how we gain our pounds to pay for this program.
Yeah, I think that's one of the myths of people saying I don't get paid for preconditioning. If you get the same price for a preconditioned calf versus non-preconditioned calf and you got more pounds, you got more money.
You got more money, and as long as they're not too fleshy.
Thanks. And thank you for joining Doc Talk. We'll be back in a minute.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by K-State Research and Extension. Knowledge for life.
This is Agriculture Today from Kansas State University. Alfalfa stands in the Central Plains took a hit from 3 separate hard freezes in April. Insect activity in those fields was hampered likewise, but the alfalfa weevil has hung tough in these conditions. Here's K-State crop entomologist Jeff Whitworth.
We find large larvae in fields that have been sprayed, and we find very tiny small larvae that obviously have just hatched out. And I think what that means is the large larvae were someplace where it was protected, down in the leaf litter. When adverse conditions are coming, they crawl down the plant and they get into some protected spot. So that protects them from the cold weather, but it also protects them from an insecticide application.
This is K-State Research and Extension.
Golf Week calls it the best course you can play in Kansas. But once you play, you'll want to stay. Go for it. Firekeeper Golf Course at Prairie Band Casino and Resort is just north of Topeka off Highway 75. Our stay and play package is worth the trip. Luxury hotel room, green fees, and golf cart for two, starting at just $169.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
Doc Talk, brought to you by Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, dressing Northeast Kansas their Western best for over 57 years.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and I'm meeting with one of our alumni from Kansas State University and an avid Power Cat fan, Dr. Nels Lindberg. He's a senior partner of the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend, Kansas. He's a veterinarian. He's also part of a group called Production Animal Consultation, which covers dairy, beef, and swine internationally. And we're talking about preconditioning. We've had a great discussion on what we want to do to prepare these calves and make sure that they're bunk broke and water tank broke, and they have them, 30 to 45 days to acclimate, and then we go through the market segments. But we still have some resistance out there. People wanting to precondition, and what are some of the things that hurdles that we have to get over?
Well, probably the biggest hurdle is it costs money to precondition your cattle, and we can't get around that. That's just a simple fact of life. So in order to precondition, we've got to make it pay.
You bet.
And if we wean them for 30 days, 45 days, that means we've got to probably feed them something, and that costs the producer money.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that we see that, and we understand the cost, we understand the labor, and but when we get down to it, again, the publications that are out there, people are getting paid now for preconditioning, and when you start to look at some of the stuff done at Purdue and some of the different universities showing that over a 10, 11 year period, there wasn't a year that preconditioning wasn't more profitable for ranchers than non-preconditioning.
Yeah, you get paid through more vaccinations given. You'll get paid for that. We also get paid for pounds, and we know that implants put on pounds, and that's how we ultimately really get paid. The third thing is adequately marketing those animals. If you take your animals to a regular day at the sale, he may not get a premium on that. Now, if he's got extra pounds, that is his premium. But if you do both things, you take them to a special calf sale at the sale barn or whatever, and you market them appropriately, you get a premium for the vaccinations, and then you also get that premium for extra pounds that you put on those animals.
Yep. And the other thing is that it's got to be sustainable, it's got to be profitable, but for the sustainability of our industry and moving forward, something we're going to have to think about when people from the outside are looking in.
That's right. It's got to be sustainable. We've got to do the right thing. As I told some producers last week outside of Houston at a producer meeting, that were throwing eggs at me for it didn't pay. If you're not doing it as a producer, your neighbor's going to be doing it, and your neighbor, if he's doing it for sustainability or long term, he's probably going to be the one that's there long term.
Yep. So it gets back to doing the right thing.
That's right, doing the right thing and getting these cattle to the feed yard at the right time with the right vaccinations and in good health, prepared to move on and do well.
Appreciate you being here today.
I'm glad to be here.
Appreciate you watching Doc Talk. If you want to know more about what we do at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. Remember, always work with a local practitioner. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from Kansas State University. You've been watching Doc Talk. We're sure glad you joined us, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.